speaker, my own very mentor, Professor T.P. Sasikumar, and he will be sharing with us the piece of revolution against transformation. I won't go any further because you part one. And let me just quickly introduce to you Professor TPS, because I know you would like to know more about him. Firstly, I want to seize this opportunity to express our gratitude for a very special gift that he gave us during our Saturday conference. If you still are interested in that particular book, please communicate with us or contact Professor TPS. In fact, you will get more than one book if you contact him direct. So you have a choice. Professor TPS Sasikumar from India is a life mentor, space science communicator, poet, author, educationist, motivational speaker, psychological life, career counseling, expert, image building, peak performance coach, spiritual master with Himalaya tradition, conscious living commute associate, opponent on India heritage, philosophy, Bhagavad Gita. I hope I pronounced that well, and Sanatana Daha. So far since 2000, for the past 20,
Bhagavad Gita, Prof.
Gita. So far since 2000, for the past 22 years, reached more than 1 million age teachers, parents, and students. Let me see if we can get that. Teachers, parents, and students. Probably, wow. If you want to remember Professor TPS, just remember teachers, parents, and students. You won't miss that. Let's go any further. Physically, okay, let me just say, he having experience with Vedic tradition from Brahmanism, KPC, Anujama, all that, permit me not to mention all this. But I'm sure he's anxious to share his wealth of wisdom and knowledge and experience with us this morning. So we all welcome Professor TPS to share with us on this platform. The stage is yours, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you, my sister, and thank you, my brother, being with me here on this India afternoon and morning in UK. And for you, my brother, it's in the evening.
Yes, 5:11.
Yeah, so it's in the late evening. Yes, you can international, under the International Academy, had series of discussions on transformational leadership, relationship, and many seminars. I must have been on the stage for many such programs, and it was kind from my sister Professor Queen Elizabeth on hosting me here. Intentionally, I changed the topic into a revolutionary topic. The basic reason is transformation is a slow process of change. Actually, nowadays it is not a slow process of change. When you talk about transformation, most of the people will talk about 21st century, how it changed from 20th century. I, as a management professor, when I used to teach business management classes, we talk about the technology change, industrial But today we don't speak about industrial change, industrial revolution. It is not digital transformation, it's a digital revolution. So the word revolution itself is a substitute, better adjective than transformation. But there is a small problem. Revolution doesn't talk about the humanity, the feelings, the generations. Therefore, I used a prefix for revolution, the piece of revolution. It is not the drastic, devastating change. It's a piece of revolution. You must enjoy the word. I am sure if you Google, you will not get any answer for this because it's mine. ChatGPT will not give this because ChatGPT in common platform, probably what people are using is 2021 update. But 2021 update will not come in this webinar, the topic which I am talking, because ChatGPT is not capturing today's knowledge and giving you free. If you want latest knowledge, you will have to pay a lot of money. See, that's where they make the business. Got it? So you must take the ChatGPT 5th version to get every detail, which probably today what we are talking, maybe they will tie up with a Zoom and get all the informations, and then tomorrow they will say a piece of revolution, the word is coined by DrTPS. Because nobody would have coined this word earlier. And therefore, I wanted to compare between the revolution against transformation. That is why I gave the title as piece of revolution against transformation. But then it has to be clearly understood. 21st, 20th, 19th, 18th centuries and all great. Earlier, change used to happen in 100 years. But in this scenario, the world where we are living today with all the fast moving computers, digital transformation, people are fast, economy is growing very fast, international relationships are fast, aircraft is moving, every part of the world. It is not 21st century we have to talk. We have to talk about third decade of 21st century. That is why I made the word third decade of 21st century. If you write, it will become 321. So if you Google 321 world, this is also a new terminology. So probably DrTPS can get the patent for 321 world. So don't have to get too much scared about the title. It only says transformation has to be replaced by revolution. But don't be have a hazardous thought on revolution. It is not against anybody. It is against each one of us. We are competing with us. And that competition should not make us to feel dull, bad, worse. But we must be up saying that I am ready for this. When I am ready for any adventure, I will see passion, I will see adventure. When I am not ready for that, it becomes dangerous. Climbing mountain is dangerous. For whom? Those who are not equipped for that. Those who are not ready for that. I am ready for that. My climbing on the mountain becomes passion. It becomes my peace. I enjoy every moment of it. So if this generation, we have a big problem, because at my age, I have seen a slow moving bullock cart on which I traveled in my life. Probably in the city, people would not have traveled like that. I have traveled on a bullock cart. I have used my bicycle. We had very high difficult life in the childhood in the villages. From there, slowly moved. But today, that speed is not good enough. The speed in which I traveled 40 years in my life was not good enough for the last 1 decade which I am traveling. Last 2 decades, I am traveling much faster. If I am not good in that, I will not be able to transform. By the time I look at the change itself is changed much faster. So people have to look at the dictionary meaning of revolution, dictionary meaning of transformation, understand what is 321. 321 is the third decade of 21st century. I think if this much is clear, now let us look at what are all these comparisons which I am trying to bring inside. The stage is the 3-2-1 stage, and the action is by two people, that is, one is transformation, another one is revolution. They are fighting each other. Where is the characteristic and the context in which we are discussing now? A total technological change. It is not brain alone makes us to live in this world. It is all the feeling what we have. So what is happening to my world where I don't open my windows of my house, but every day I open multiple windows on my computer. My contact with the people are only for hearing and seeing, but not touching, but not sharing my place together. The societal shift of digital divide due to the technological advancement. It is not societal shift. It is not a societal division. Inside family, people don't have time to interact with each other. Parents don't have time for their children. The environment around which we are supposed to live, with open doors are closed and then we run air conditions. The connection with the environment has lost. And beyond our home, beyond our computer, beyond my, see, earlier I used to have albums at home. When guest comes, I will open it up and show many people. This is my grandfather, this is my father. I am sure if everybody looks at their telephone, you will see only your selfies. The selfie has become the selfish selfies. People don't even keep their family pictures. But my own picture in 100 places I will show. Therefore, our relationship with the gadgets have kept away from our family, from society, from friendship. Probably, yes, I must have got connection across the world. Maybe 90 countries I have got average 50 contacts. Therefore, I have got more than 5,000 people in contact on WhatsApp with me. But I'm sure when DrTPS falls sick and I have to be taken to a hospital, in Indian situation, it's not the government who takes us. Somebody has to hire a vehicle, pick it up. We don't have insurance scheme. It's only my relative and friends who are around me will take care of me. So when I am living in a digital world, I should not forget about my root corner. One great thing probably in the 3 years of COVID isolation in Hyderabad where I am staying now, my hometown is 1,000 kilometers away from my city where I am living now. I connected with my teachers who taught me during my childhood. I have talked to them, I've had a conversation, I call them, I connect with them. I know these elderly people in my native will be isolated. They will not have the liberty of talking to people, meeting people. But I tried that connection of connecting to them. If you don't have that heart with the feeling, we are in a revolution without a peace. So we need peace. Ultimately, see, you know, in India, last week, there was a great news which really saddened me. A great cinematic person who is in the art direction. He made a lot of great movies. Lagan is a great movie where Britishers and Indian people are, villagers are fighting each other in the cricket ground. The art direction is done by a great artist. In 1980s, approximately 40 years back, the best of the series programs in television was directed, art direction was done by him. He has got the 4th best civilian award in India. He committed suicide. With the greatest decorations in life, 4 national awards in film, he committed suicide. You know why? The revolutionary change in the economics, the business made him to take a large loan which he is not able to repay. It's almost 200-300 crores of rupees, Indian rupees. I am sure if 100 people work together with him, will not be able to repay the debt which he got. See, imagine what is that we are achieving in life. The transformation in technology, culture, social, economic, industrial, fourth industrial revolution. Economic Forum declares it is one of the greatest change which is going to happen. Everybody is connected. But if you are not connected physically, we are actually technologically fragmenting people. Artificial intelligence. I will not be able to write a poetry today. I keep saying I am lucky that I wrote all my poetry before ChatGPT. Because if I write a poetry today, people will say you are actually making fun of people because you have copied it from somewhere. Got it? The breakthrough of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, what not. The technological friend is actually replacing human being. I can make my own replica exactly looking like me, talking like me, have contacts in different places, hiding me from me, and the other DrTPS will be talking to people and faking people around. These are all the developments which is happening today. So the daily life, ethical consideration, the challenges which we have, the demographic social structure in which we are living, the social media and digital communication, the hazards and the benefits, balancing the virtual and the physical interaction. The planet is going for a real transformation. I don't know how many of you have seen the movie called Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy. If you have not seen those two, you must see this. The so-called United Nations, who is controlling the world administration with every powerful nations playing vital role. They have their own politics and they have their own economics. They have their own business motive. The environmental change what is being published today need not be the real story. So I found the two movies, Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy, from the same director. The beautiful work of, maybe a beautiful work of film, but more than that, a beautiful documentary. More than that, a great journalist exposes what is being done in the world and faking people. The international agencies are faking people. You should understand the sustainable practice. When I talk about sustainable practice and innovations, sustainability, SDG is a great word around this world today. No development can talk about sustainability. Development is always part of exploitation. If one is becoming rich, definitely you are living on somebody's shoulder. So addressing the climate change, resource management, big businesses, rich programs, where smaller business people are being really pushed down. Now we have a big mall, big capital markets. You imagine what's happened to those people who are doing small business in the small single door shop. There is a great economic shift. Don't you call this as a revolutionary change? But did it disrupt the world, or was it a peaceful change? If you can take people around you, raise them along with you, when I go for automation, create people with that technology, wherein I am also able to be part of the big, gigantic economy development, ensuring every people get equal distribution of, I am not saying wealth, but at least a decent living life. I am not talking about wealth distribution. Do you have an equitable wealth distribution? Do you take care of your people around you? Is the government spending a lot of money for war? You can imagine some country being fighting war for 1 year just because of their ego. The globalization influence on culture, the identity, the heritage is being, when you destroy a city, what are you destroying? The culture, the heritage. And do we call constructing a new world as a transformation, or do you call it as a revolution without peace? So when I use the word peace as a prefix to revolution, it means exchange of culture, create the diversity. I need both. I need a technological change, but not destroying my heritage, my tradition. I can be a computer expert, but I am not going to make fun of my grandfather who never had computer literacy. I keep saying, by birth, I am in a BC, before computer world. And I live in AD, after digital world. So I am a ABCD. in between AD is BC. So my AD, the after digital world, within the BC. So I cannot make fun of my before computer person. My grandfather and father was still bright and great. Just because they don't know computers, they cannot laugh at me. So my child also should tell my father is not that literate in computers, but he has great wisdom. So the inequality has to be taken into inclusivity, with the central challenge of understanding BC is within AD. The harnessing of the transformation for a positive change, much faster speed, is what I call as the P's of revolution. The collaboration of innovation, of great forces which drives my life ahead, with a lot of ethical and moral considerations, with humanity, because all of us are human being human. We are all social being. As society changes, I must also get adjusted to the society. But only when I get adjusted to my close relatives, friends, my society, my culture, balancing the progress with ethical principles is what makes me a social being. So understand, I am a social being. Addressing the issues of this misharmony is what I mean by taking care of in the 3-2-1 world. Adjustment of fast moving. I also should have fast moving vehicle, but I love to travel slow so that I can enjoy the beauty. If some train is traveling at 200 km per hour, and if you are traveling in a greenery place, you will not see any greenery, because even if the doors are glass doors, because every tree moves very fast, what is that you can enjoy around? I should also have a slow moving vehicle in which I can go through the forest to enjoy. So ensure the human values as guidance for the transformation, or maybe my ensure that my human values are taken care of when I move in a rapid moving, rapid changing, uncertain world where I don't know what is going to happen next month. I don't know what's going to happen next year. Otherwise, what will happen? A person who loses the steps will always feel depressed. Probably that is one reason youngsters and elderly people are committing suicide. You can see the number of committing suicide, number of diverse. People are not able to match together, sit together, and that resilience of flexibility is not there. We need to cultivate the resilience, cultivate flexibility. A lifelong learning and upskilling program. Yes, I am not able to do that fast as what my son is doing, but yes, I will be able to do it. I am ready to sit with them to understand. So collaborative learning, understand the responsibility of the youngsters and elders, and a future generation may suffer more if we as elders don't take care of them and then convince them, saying that these technological development are good, artificial intelligence is good, but human intelligence only made this artificial intelligence. So you should have that sort of an understanding, the social shift, what is happening around, environmental changes, what is happening around, the economical reform, what is happening around, all that is made by us, this generation. And you have taken birth in the AD, after digital. After digital is done by us. 40 years, 50 years back, what we started is what is flying now. If aircraft is flying left, right with all the modernization, 1920 it happened. So promise and the perils of the transformation. have to be understood and taught clearly to the next generation. Otherwise, they don't value money, they don't value relationship, they don't value the benefits, they don't value the challenges, they don't value the peace of life what we have today. What probably we are able to enjoy the peace. The next generation, the times of transformation will become a havoc of revolution. People don't even use the word transformation now. People will use the revolution with the historical lessons, which will not describe peace, only will describe what we lost in the peace. The history is not going to talk about peace life. It is going to talk about lot of war. Therefore, educational awareness, the grassroots movements, the dialogues of the diplomacy what the world has today may not be there tomorrow. If we don't create the generation, bridging the gap, a transformed world. I remember my last visit in America. I was in a church on a Sunday program, and in that Sunday, the topic given by me was that place where I was in USA was called India Na. Na in Hindi means no. And I said, India, a bridge to Indiana. India, a bridge to Indiana. That friendship bridge was what I was talking in the church. We had people from India, we had people from the Native American who were all attending churches. They realized that there is a bridge requirement. The peaceful revolution will happen only when the peaceful relationship become in each one of our heart. And this is what the sustainable development. Otherwise, we talk about sustainable development, but on the ground, fostering the peaceful revolution will not happen. This is what I wanted to submit. There are challenges. The path is not that peaceful as we think today. Probably for us it looks so peaceful, but I don't know how it is going to be in the fourth decade of 21st century if we don't do the real homework of equipping our next generation for facing the real challenges which they are going to face. So good enough. I think I spoke half an hour. Yeah, good enough. Half an hour is good enough. If there are questions, I'll be very glad to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, sir. You've really, really opened my eyes to some reality of life. And I believe that everyone should really, really listen to this, even though it is short, but it is powerful. Because there are great stuff that you have really inked, which we've not heard before. And that is something that we need to start thinking about it. Because I believe that the way you have set this motion this morning is for us to think outside the box. It's for us to think okay, right. So let me continue. Yeah, it's for us to think outside the box, because if we are all being carried away with all this revolutionary digital technology, and you were right in what first of all, I want to say thank you so much for elaborating with us about 3, 2, 1. Now I understand what it's all about. You really tricked me there, because I thought it was my mistake. Yes. My first question, you've really opened a very, very important topic or a discussion this morning, which I'm hearing it for the first time. Yes, we are talking about technology, it's taking over. And it's so scary, sir. It's so scary because even we, not to talk of even the youth, we've forgotten about how we're being brought up. We're being carried away with that. And from there, you can see that even the next generation also, they're even going far above us. I mean, they are going far ahead of us. Even if you try to want to correct them now, they will say, well, wake up to the new life. But then there's so many, because I believe that everything we are doing now is even affecting even the climate change. It's affecting our relationship. When I started this relationship early this year, people were saying that nobody will come to your conference because relationship is not common. It's about flowing with the norms. I mean, flowing with the change. And I'm thinking, what do you mean about the change? Because without this relationship, we can't survive. There was a time that I used to go for business and millionaires conferences before COVID, that I used to travel a lot, go for all these conferences. And then one thing I learned from them during that time, and that is where that inspiration of this relationship really got to me. I mean, I was given opportunity to share and also to ask questions. And I'm asking a millionaire, what next? You've got the money now. You are achieving. You are successful. You are among the top 10 this and top 10. What next? He doesn't know. And he's a millionaire. So all his life, he's been chasing, making money, being successful. I asked another person as well. That one is like a salesman. And I said that, are you really, really enjoying? Let's forget about your family now. You yourself, are you enjoying what you are doing? He said, enjoyment will come when I make money. Really? Then I interview another person. This one has made it in life in America. But he was connected with another company. And that company are doing well in terms of marketing. Okay. Then unfortunately something happened. That company, the government have to seal their license, everything have to finish. And here comes this particular man saying that it's like everything has finished for him. I said, what do you mean by that? He said all his years he was busy making money but forgotten about relationship, because during that time he got divorced. He didn't think about it. He was just pursuing this making money business. And I'm thinking, now that everything is gone, what is the next? I don't know. So he have to relocate himself and go to another country to start all over again with no family. So that's the place that really, really gripped me and said, this revolution you're talking about, we need to be more serious about it. Because if not, we don't have anything left for the generation to come. My first question is, how do we put this message across the world?
What story just now you mentioned? The first ever written epic, the book, the story in the world. You have any idea, my sister, which is the...
No.
Yeah, that is called Ramayana. That's a story of a king of India. Probably it is 1.6 million years old. 1.6 million years old.
Wow.
The Rama, the king, whose father was Dasharatha. Ratha means vehicle. Dasha means 10. That means those days the king had 10, maybe Mercedes-Benz sort of a car. That means he was a highly prestigious king. But his son Rama started disobeying him. He was a headache for his father in the childhood as a teenager. Can you imagine even today the president of America, probably the most powerful in the modern world. You know who is his headache? His headache is his own son.
Wow.
There are many cases against him on all the drugs, abuse, many cases against him on business, many cheating cases in America with partnership with China. These are all the weapons which is against Biden for the next election. So every time there is a saying that for the rich person there will be somebody who is like a worm who is trying to disturb him at every moment. But the best thing what Dasharatha, the king, did was he had sent his son for a counseling. The first mentor in the world officially, first psychotherapist in the world was Vasishta. Vasishta is the name of, and there is a book called Yoga Vasishta. The yoga terminology came there first. The whole world is celebrating yoga, but I don't know how many people would have heard this story which I am telling you now. They credit this yoga word to somebody else, forgetting 1.6 million years back there was one Yoga Vasishta, the first textbook of yoga. And that first textbook of yoga is not a physical exercise. It is counseling, mentoring, lot of lessons given to Rama for a change. The whole thing was written by a great rishi, but not great rishi. He was a scheduled tribe living in a forest who was hunting birds for eating. He was hunting birds for eating. And a saint comes and asks him, for whom you are hunting this? Is that for my family to have the food? Wonderful. So are you not killing a innocent bird for your food? Is it not a great crime? He says, this is what we do generations. How can you call it as a crime? My father was doing, my grandfather was doing, everybody around us was doing. Okay, wonderful. You go and ask all that bad job what you do for your family. If there is a God who is going to account for good and bad activities which you do, will your family, your wife, kids, father, everybody share all the sins what you do for feeding them? So this hunter goes back home and asks his wife, kids, father, brother, everybody. They say, no, whatever sins you do, you only have to suffer. Family is not going to take part of it. Got it? Let us keep that story apart. I wrote a book which says, I need someone. This is from my book called Life of Love. And I need someone. My family I require, yes. But then, that is the third poem which I have. The fourth poem, when you are giving the story, I was speaking of the book because I know what you are going to ask, for which I need this as a reference. And the fourth poetry is the secret of the self. Whatever I do for the society, whatever I do for my family, whatever I do in my profession, ultimately it is my self-esteem, my self-love, my dignity, my respect, my compassion, my consciousness, my dialogue to my own brain, to my heart. My feeling will start questioning my intelligence. What is that you have done is right or not? Oh, with this passion I have done. Did you do something wrong? Is it correct? Is it ethical? Is it as per rules? Is it for the society? My secret of the self. And the next one is the self-love is the true love. If I don't love myself, I cannot love anybody in the world. So I have to be in peace. If I have to be in peace and I am in peace, definitely I need the society in to be a comfortable place with the situations. A single tree too tall cannot stop the hurricane. Definitely it will fall. If Not a single tree. The whole forest is full of big trees. No storm, no hurricane, no tornado can uproot any of the trees. So a single individual cannot live in this world. I must have lot of people around. Now let me see, I am not that growing fast, but I am very too short. Like you have seen in a mountainous rocky mountain, you will see small bushes. Try to pluck them, you will not be able to pluck them because their roots would have gone beneath the big rocks. They are very strong. And what do we gain in our life? Assume I am traveling in the London city with a beautiful car full of traffic jam. Now my sister have to look back to the people who transport banana in the African villages. They have a bicycle which takes them maybe 20-30 kilometers away. They have to take that bunch of bananas. I don't know whether you have seen such videos. I have seen such videos. How the African village people transport their bananas in bicycle, which they earn very little money at the end of the day. Is that happiness which they have is less than that happiness which I have in the city? How do you make this comparable to say that my technological development, great aspirations in life, give me a wonderful life standard? Is that gives me happiness or this gives me happiness? Our happiness has become always comparison. My happiness is not my inner self-love. I always compare with somebody else. When I compare with somebody else, there is an inner in me who with a lot of brain, head, which says, no, this is not logical, this is not the way to do things. The data doesn't say this is what I have to make economics, money has to be made. Therefore, in the same Ramayana story, the villain there, the hero is Rama. The villain is with the 10 heads, the 10 tongue, the 10 eyes, the 20 ears, 20 eyes, 10 nose. You are so brilliant and bright, but they are not happy. The total thing goes down. The word Rama itself means moving from darkness to light. What is darkness to life? That is what is enlightenment. That is what is salvation. That is what is permanent happiness. Any technological development, any changes, if we don't understand the core happiness in each one of us, there are only 3 parameters which gives us happiness: fame, wealth, and knowledge. If 3 happiness balance together, if I am so bright but I don't have fame, I may get depressed. I need money, sufficient money to survive in this world. Sufficient. It's a word to be used in very carefully. Sufficient. I must be rich for my cup of tea. Let me not beg anybody for my survival in this world. I must earn money. I must have sufficient knowledge. I must have sufficient fame. After that, I will distribute it to people who are around me. If I don't do that, I don't cherish that, I will not be enjoying. I cannot have an award in my hand where I don't have a close friend to share and say that no, I got an award. I cannot stand on the road in London and then say I got an award where nobody is there who knows me. They will say this is a crazy fellow. They will put me in jail or they will put me in asylum, mental asylum, right? So what is more related is I should have somebody who knows me. I can only share my happiness, I can only share my sorrow with the people whom I know. I cannot cry. People will laugh at me if I don't know anybody else. Therefore, I need someone. And that someone is with whom I can share my feelings. If you understand that, I am sure people will invest their time, money, knowledge, fame, everything to help somebody else in this world. That's why I wrote the poetry called I need someone. I need someone. Right. You are muted.
Oh, wow, wow, what a great knowledge I'm gaining this morning. This is powerful. This is powerful. I really, I mean, you've really no, not digest. Is it something, like you've broken it down for us to understand that it's on after, there must be a balance.
Dissecting.
That's the word.
Yeah.
Dissect, yeah. So thank you. So I'm learning because I'm sitting right in front of Professor. So Professor needs to teach me more than what I know. So thank you so much. There's a question from Facebook. Why is conflict transformation important in terms of peace?
Yeah, most of the people don't understand conflict means what. The conflict is, I understood the question is conflict, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
CONFLICT, conflict. Yeah, the conflict means, where is the conflict? The conflict is actually not from somebody out. The conflict is internal. I agree with you. What is that I agree with you means? When my sister speaks something, I understood in some way, and my brain says this is what is either logical or not logical. I can disagree with you or agree with you. There is no conflict there. When the conflict comes, oh, I love my sister, but the sister told me like this. Finished. There is a heart, a feeling in me where I should accept what you are saying, but what you said is not logically acceptable to me. So actually always the conflict is within my feeling to my brain. Otherwise there is only agreement and disagreement. Conflict is when I am in confusion of whether it is true or whether it is not true. I am working, it's explained very well in Indian mythology. It's a beautiful way of explaining. Where is my conflict? My conflict is, I am traveling in a dark night in a narrow road with a small torchlight. I am seeing something there which looks like a snake. I am in conflict. Whether it is a snake or not a snake. I don't know whether it's a snake or not a snake. I have to go further. Should I didn't get some stick and then beat it and then kill that or throw it off? Or, yeah, I was sure that it's a snake. So I took a stick and then started beating and trying to throw stones and then trying to kill. But nothing is happening. It is stable. Oh, it was not a snake. It was a rope. It was a rope. I mistook it as a snake. Now let us think the other way. There is a snake. Instead of that, I took it as a rope, but not as a snake. What would have happened? So my brain says this, my heart says this. My brain also have got two portions. One logic says this is correct, this is not correct. I am into conflict. I am not able to decide. Therefore, there is a great science called conflictology. There is a saying, Mahatma Gandhi to conflictology is ancient to physics. I am a leader. Now we are talking in the class of a leadership. I am a leader of an institution. All my people who are reporting to me says that I am wrong. My consciousness as a leader says this is what I am supposed to do. I am in conflict. I am not able to take a decision. So what do you do? Earlier we had all people in this world as leaders had advisors. They had saints. They had some people who are wise enough to suggest what is to be done. The conflictology can be solved only when you get an expert opinion. People who are not connected in power, position, money, fame, everything, disregard all these. Whether somebody is able to give you a wise suggestion, they are called mentors. So conflict can be resolved only when no suggestions will work with them in the same peer group. Suggestions will not work. You have to have faith in somebody saying that, oh, this person is the greatest person whom I trust. Let me just believe on him. Because your brain is suggesting something, your heart is suggesting something which I am not able to accept. Both I am in confusion. That confusion is called conflict. So whom should you listen? Actually, that is where the spiritual person comes. You are a spiritual person. You have what is called a soul, which is called Atma. The soul will decide. So I am not taking decision from my brain. I am not taking decision from my heart. I am going inside me to understand what is right and wrong. That is a detached, creative, innovative mind which all of us have, which is not evoked, which is not opened up. That opening is called spirituality. So if you are a spiritual person, this confusion will never come. Conflict will be there for everyone who is not spiritual. And for every problem in this world, the spiritual people will give you a solution without a conflict. Today morning I had a session of 1.5 hours. The father says, my son is very intelligent, he has to become a doctor. I will send him to any part of the world for giving him the education. The son says, I am not interested. Up to 10th grade, I was a bright student. But 11th and 12th, 2 years, I went out of track. Now I can never become doctor because that mindset is gone. I had 1 hour session. And he says that I will go for becoming a doctor now. So I was telling the end of the session, 20 years some father fed somebody, gave him all facilities to live, but it is not being heard what the father says. Some outsider who is not related to suggest something, he accepts it. Got it? I will send you that text what he has sent it to me. You will love it. The end of the session he had sent me a text which is so touching. I tell you, I may not meet him in my life. I may not see him. But that session, he says, I am connected to you throughout my life. I want to meet you every now and then when I have problems. So I told him, you have no choice or requirement to meet me. Because when somebody says, I am in problem, I will meet you, my prayer is, don't meet me. Because I don't want you to be in trouble and problems. Got it? You have to be a non-bounded, attached person. Non-bounded. I am using words very carefully. Non-bounded, attached person. If you talk to me, I am with you. I reflect. But if you don't care me, I don't care you. That's it. If that is what is called attachment, attached detachment and detached attachment. There are 2 words which are very common in Indian mythology. Attached detachment and detached attachment. If you understand this very carefully, there is no conflict at all. My attachment to Professor Nada sometimes pains me that why she is not taking my name. If I have no attachment to Professor Nada, she is not taking my name, I don't care. Understood? So that attachment is the problem. If I get detached, there is no problem at all in this world. So conflict comes, my brain, my feeling, always fight. My book on Life Made Simple, I have made it very clear. Conflict. There is one small paragraph on conflict which says, my brain, you know what Nelson Mandela told? That's a beautiful quote. I should not miss that. You know what Nelson Mandela says is, you cannot have 2 H in the same person. Either you can have head or you can have heart. When your head works, you must not have any. Logically, I am deciding something. I should not look at who told this. I should only see whether it is correct or not. When I check who told this, that means I am attaching my heart to that person. So you cannot have two H. And there is an extension which I keep saying, ladies have good heart and gents think that they have good head. I only said think that they have good head, no guarantee.
Yes.
But ladies have good heart. Therefore, what happens in the house also, there will be a lot of conflict. The conflict is actually between the gents and the ladies, because I keep saying, in my house, what is to be done, where what is to be purchased, everything my wife can decide. But how America has to deal with the Ukraine problems and how the relationship with India, DrTPS will decide in my house. International politics I will take care. The domestic politics you take care. So no conflict at all. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. That is why sometimes when I was reading one of these books, it says that men think logical.
Yes.
And women thinks with emotions.
Emotions, yeah.
From heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But understand there are gently behavior in ladies and there are feminine behavior in gents also.
Yes, especially in this in this modern world.
Yeah,
Yes.
the genes are not connected well.
Yes. Thank you so much for. Let me ask one more question. So I know the time is fast spent, but it's good to it's good to get more understanding of what we're talking about as well. You talk about you talk about first yoga is not just exercise.
No.
Because that is what people like me understand.
Yeah.
Yes. And
You-
you talk about that it comes like counseling, like, counseling, like, so I want you to put throw more light into that area, please.
Actually, every person who learns yoga in India tradition, because India is the origin for yoga, and that is given to the real master of yoga, and the credit is given to, forget about Vasishta, it is given to somebody else who is the Patanjali. The yoga is Patanjali.
Thank you.
So today the credit is not given to the original person, it is given to Patanjali, who actually made yoga with 8 limbs, 8 different factors. And 8 different factor, the first factor is called Yama. Yama means non-violence. Non-violence. And next one is Niyama. Niyama means self-discipline. And third one is Asana. Asana means exercise. So people only understood the third one as exercise. And Yama, Niyama, Asana. Next one is Pratyahara. And yeah, which is my indriyas have to be disconnected from the outside world. Let me not too much concerned about what the world says. Pranayama. Pranayama is breathing exercise. My breath has to be clean. If I don't take my breath very clean, I cannot do any control of mind. My emotions can be controlled only when Yama, Niyama, Asana. The fourth one is Pranayama, then Pratyahara. I misplaced it actually. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, then Dharana. Dharana is my focus. I can study only when I can focus. I can talk only when I can focus. My sister can ask question only when you are focusing. That is called every education, every business, everything in your life will become successful only when you focus. Focus is also part of yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, focus, Dhyanam. Dhyanam is prayer. I am thinking about one, and then my mentor, my God, my concept is only in my mind, nothing else. Focusing on good things. Focus can be bad or good. After focusing, remove all the bad things and get only the good things. Then I get into Samadhi. Samadhi is the full silence. The silence is where I will reach my Atma. So I am a silence master from Himalayan tradition. During the introduction, you have read that Himalayan meditation. Actually, I am a Samadhi master from Himalayan tradition. But during the exercise which everybody do, they have a prayer to be chanted. Yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pratnalirata dosmi. I am not explaining it because it's a little tough. That's the last two lines. But before that, there are two lines. I salute you, Patanjali, who is the best master of this yoga. That is the last two lines. Who is that master? What are his credentials? No exercise is mentioned there. That's what I am going to make you clear. Everybody pray this and then do exercise without even understanding the meaning of this. The salutations to Patanjali, who is the master of these. But before that it says master of what? Yogena chittasya. Chitt means manas. The yoga for the emotional control. So yoga is not a physical exercise, it is emotional control. As per the master of yoga, yoga is for emotional balance, no conflict at all. The emotional balance means my emotion doesn't make my logic to think different. My logic, my emotion, everything get into my soul, Atma. Only one is there. No brain, no feeling, but only the God inside me. That is what is called the Yogena Chittasya. That yoga means joining. Yoga literally means joining. Union. Union of what? Union of my brain and union of my feeling. The buddhi, the intelligence and emotion have to be joined together to get a best EQ. Emotional quotient. Emotional quotient which controls the brain and the feeling. Yogena Chittasya. Padena Vaja. You know who is the master of good communicator? The best communication master in the world, the first master, Patanjali. They also chant this. Not that I have feeling, I must be able to spell out my feelings. I must be a good communicator. So one is controlled feeling. Second one is my words have to be clean and good. DrTPS is good, but nobody will know this. Only when I know your communication and the cleanliness in the communication will tell who is this person. Somebody can mistake. If somebody has mistaken my communication, it is not my fault. That person is corrupted. Because the perceiver perceives the way the perceiver wants to perceive and not the way the speaker wants the perceiver to perceive. I may tell something with a perception. You will take a different perception. That's your fault, not my fault. So if somebody says, he told like this, I don't like him. It is your fault, not my fault. You understood? So don't give ear to some XYZ fellow. Talk to me directly if you have got some misunderstanding. All this is being taught as communication skill. Malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena. A good doctor who knows physical treatment. Physically I have to be fit. Emotionally I have to be controlled. Intellectually I have to be smart. Socially I have to be very communicative. And spiritually I must reach the higher. The fivefold development is what is given as yoga. Not exercise alone. DrTPS doesn't exercise at all. For last 40 years no yoga practice. But my weight is 60 kilogram. No plus 1, no minus 1. I am always like this for last 30 years, 40 years.
Wow.
I am able to maintain no disease, no medicines, not even a single day rest. Every day I work almost 20 hours. That's because physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, fivefold development. That is yoga, not exercise. I have a video, you must see that. Yoga is not a monkey's job. I made fun of yoga. See, I don't have to put my leg onto my head, hand onto my. God Himself will commit suicide. I have created Him to stand straight. Why He is standing reverse? Is that yoga? You show me one God who is standing with the head down and leg on the top. If somebody says putting your head down and then walking on your hand is yoga, I have one question. Why God is not walking in the hands? He is walking with the legs only, right? It's all stupidity. It's all stupidity.
Thank you so much. You've really, I mean, I really need that question I asked has been bothering me for many years, and I wanted somebody to explain it to me because everybody's. I mean, there was a time we did yoga day, and all the pictures I see is exercise. And sometimes you don't know. Some majority of people don't know what they are doing. They just see everybody doing it and then they do it. Yes.
See, I have written another poetry here. You can read. Are you able to read the heading?
Relationship, millipede meditation.
Millipede meditation. Because on this day when I wrote this poem, I have seen people standing like a leg and putting only one leg and hand on the down. It looks like a long millipede. So yoga is not a millipede. Meditation is not a millipede exercise. This is there in my book called Life, Rhythm of Life. This is also available on your.
Yeah.
And the first poetry is my visit to London. A travelogue. Victorian celebration. You can read the heading. Victorian celebration, late visit. Because in my childhood we read a lot of poetry on the British. I have read Wordsworth, I have seen Bernard Shaw's, everybody's. And I was eager to know when I will see this. And it took 45 years for me to come to London to see their houses. So I wrote a poetry on that. It's almost like my own life experience of travelogues.
Yes, that's really great. That's really great. Thank you so much. To recap, to balance what you've shared with us today is about knowing more how to balance both the revelation and also the transformation, that we need to look at both together. There's no point being carried away with the technology and forgetting the humanity or human being. So we need to look outside, because that is the only way we can really build a community. Because if we are just focusing on what the technologies ask for us and forgetting ourselves, then we miss out the most important thing, which is the relationship. I remember, like I used to tell people, I remember, I was still young, I'm still young now, but at least it's something I experienced in our local language, in our village, where when it is dark time, we come out, we sit around, and then our elders are sharing stories with us. So that's why, because there's no TV, there's no electricity, and we learned a lot even from that stories that they're sharing with us. We sat down, we are happy, we feel natural during that time, and we are learning from them. That some things that we learn from them, you can learn it from school or from classroom. So I just believe that we need to continue, Professor TPS. We need to continue sharing this message of how we can balance both the revolution and the transformation. People need to know that you can't leave one and take another. And another thing is that you can't have the whole world. You can't gain wealth without relationship. So we need to get everything sorted out and balance it out. And also to talk of the yoga, that's because people might be watching us and be thinking, what is yoga has to do with the relationship? And it has a lot, because you've really enlightened us to know how we can really take care of ourselves. That is not only just exercise. Yes, you can have exercise and still be sick. Very important. And then sometimes you as well, you can have your exercise and do every other thing, but at the same time you are lacking some other things. So that is why we need to know these stages of socially, religiously, physically, emotionally, because all these things make up the yoga. If you are out there and you think yoga is only exercise, you've just heard it from the professor of professors. So if you've missed it at the beginning, please repeat this video and learn carefully so that you will also gain more knowledge about what you are doing, because majority of us don't know what we are doing. We just join the crowd. They're doing it, yes, I can do it. Or they say this one will work for us, and then you join the wagon and you continue doing it. Why you're doing it, I don't know. So please, let not ignorance kill us. Try to learn more about everything you do for your life, for your body, and for your community. But before your community, relationship. We are still talking. So all these things that Professor TPS have shared with us today, it really has many things to do with relationship, because relationship is the key words there. Because if you can build a better relationship within yourself, with your God, then you will be a great leader or a transformational leader. Because what you make yourself is what you will use to influence others. So that is very important. Am I right, Professor TPS?
Yes, definitely, 100%.
Thank you so much. Let me see if I have any other questions. Well, let's welcome Professor Nada. Before Professor Nada starts our own section, I'm sure you joined us and you're listening silently and patiently to what Professor TPS has been sharing with us this afternoon or this morning. Do you have any questions?
I just want to say that I really appreciate Dr. TPS, his work, his amazing work, and I'm really following him, reading he's sending so many things, so I watch the videos, listen, because Dr. TPS has a big charisma, and I can say that many people don't have that, what he has. So, not the last time we get the book, but there's so many books, so many videos, so many advices, and we can really learn a lot from him. And when we are talking about these transformational leaders, he's really a transformational leader. He's focused on that. He has that motivation. When we listen to him, he's inspiring us. But many leaders don't have that. If you don't have this inspirational motivation, how can you lead us? How can you where is the sense of challenge? What it means? Then he has this stimulation, also intellectual stimulation. I was thinking before I joined Zoom today. I didn't want to stop because I come a little later, so I listened his talk, and really it is for all of us. Ideal, his philosophy, like a leader, really gives us a practice, and I also agree when he say about the yoga now. Dr. TPS. We are really honored to have you and to know you, because as I hear you talk about the conflict today, there's so many conflicts around us, and if you don't know yourself, if you don't understand that, how can you solve a conflict? There's so many, how can I call that, in our life, haters, so many fake people around us, so many wants, problems. But if we cannot control ourselves, if we cannot make a balance, as you explained to us, then I'm sure that we cannot solve that. But we are fighters. Dr. TPS don't sleep. He works 20 hours by day. And yes, Dr. TPS, you have more like you. Our Dr. Queen is in 3 o'clock in the morning, didn't sleep. Nada, the Professor Nadara coach also don't sleep. So we are following your theory and practice. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
must confess to you two things. It's good for me to confess here. When I first met Professor TPS in one of these great meetings, I only tuned in, and within 1 minute, I knew, because of his wealth of experience that he's sharing and his wisdom, I knew within 1 minute that he is going to be my mentor. So I didn't waste any time. Immediately he finished that, I texted him up and said, I would love to learn from you. And it's amazing hearing from him for the first time today that he doesn't do exercise, because I thought he's doing a lot. Always been thinking, what kind of exercise? I know everybody is saying yoga, and I'm thinking, I've not seen him sitting down crossing his legs, because I think that one is common, isn't it? You sit on the floor, you cross your leg, another thing.
No.
So I am so grateful that I knew his secret today, that it's not only just exercise. There's so many things to come with this yoga. And I want to say thank you so much, sir, on this note, for sharing your wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and experience, because you are a practical leader. You speak from your actions. Like some people will speak outside the action. For some people can say the opposite of what they are doing. But you've already been doing it, and you are speaking, you make yourself a reference of what you are saying. And I can reason with what you're saying, and I'm learning a lot from you, sir. So
my sister, I will not walk on the floor, but I climb trees.
Yes, I saw it. Look at him.
This is a coverage in a paper where they have seen a scientist on the top of a tree. They took a picture and gave a beautiful coverage.
Imagine. And because you live that life.
I am a son of a farmer, so I should do farming.
Yeah.
I still work in the farm when there is a requirement. Yeah, I cook in my house, I clean my house. It's common in West, but in India it's not common. We always keep servant maids, but I do my jobs.
Absolutely amazing.
I am the son of a farmer, so my father was zero class educated, not educated at all. So I am the son of a farmer, so I still love to work on the ground.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And this is part 1. To all our viewers, I can say you are enjoying. Oh yes, thank you so much for this interesting masterclass. Oh yes, it's very interesting. It's my mentor, and it's also our great leader. Yes, so come again and come and listen to the part 2 of this amazing topic, because I believe it's new in the society, but we need to hear it so that we can gain more knowledge and also prepare our youth with more knowledge. Thank you so much. So that they are not getting lost.
Professor Nada, I have not stolen your time. I stopped in half an hour.
That's the key. You see,
And 1 hour,
No,
more than an hour was questions. It's not my fault.
Dr. TPS,
That's right.
it was really great. And you know what Nada is thinking now? I have now new things in my head theories,
Yeah.
so many new things. And Dr. Queen, I think that after this master class today, We don't need another master class today. This is really enough.
This is
Really think that
it's deep and it's new.
yes, it is deep and it is new. So I think that we with today, Dr. TPS, I think that your great master class for us is enough.
Thank you so much. And if you are wondering when next is Professor TPS going to speak again and share this great insight, I think it's on the 10th of August.
10th of August.
So come and join us again on this live, Facebook Live. And you will really be, your mindset will really be renewed, and your knowledge will expand, blow out of the window when you listen to the part 2 of this information. So thank you so much for joining us. Professor TPS, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for sharing your wealth of wisdom, knowledge, and experience with us. Thank you for your time, because you are a very busy professor, teaching and traveling and doing all kinds of things. We do not take you for granted. And thank you for being my mentor. Thank you. We appreciate you. Professor TPS has been with us for the past 1 year. He recorded everything that we've done and sometimes reminded me of the previous program. So find a way to connect with him. And if you really want to know more and him to be your mentor, please connect with me and I will do a proper introduction. Thank you so much. And thank you, Professor TPS, for this time. Okay.
Recording stopped.
Let's relax a bit.
Dr. TPS, amazing.
Amazing.
Listen. I didn't come at the beginning, but I will watch it. I was out and had some duties.
No,
so
Professor Nada,
will go.
I was making fun because
Yes, I'm sure,
Sister Elizabeth has given a title where she did not even read the title, and I said, yeah, please explain me. I don't know what is it.
And he explained it clearly, well understood. And even Professor Karudin was with us earlier today. I think he had a phone call, so probably that is why he couldn't, that is why he had to move on. But he was with us. In fact, he joined almost half an hour before the program, so we had a very good chat together. Yes. Okay, we are going